Because we already talked, for example, about how there were Muslim pirates who essentially captured slaves from the coast of the various parts of Christendom and sold them at a profit. Well, with all of that said, we kind of have an idea of a pirate, somebody who illegally attacks on the high seas for personal gain or for profit. But there's another term we really need to understand, and that is the term privateer. A privateer was someone who, like a pirate, also possessed a large ship, well armed with cannon and artillery and supplies and all the sailors to man those things and so forth. But privateers were a little bit different than pirates because they possessed something called a letter of marque. This was basically a license that gave them permission to practice piracy. That is, to attack other ships for personal gain. Now, they didn't keep all of the things that they captured, whether it be the ship or the ship's cargo. They typically, on average, kept about 50 to 75% of whatever they took. The rest of it went to the state or to the crown that had authorized the official piracy or the privateering, if you will, in the first place. Now, not only was this a handy way to raise money, in fact, England was so successful at it that at one point, piracy, or privateering, to use the term that they used back then, often accounted for up to half of their entire economy. But the other thing that it actually did was it allowed a variety of nations, especially England once again, to send its pirates, or its privateers, if you will, against various more powerful nations in itself, such as the Habsburg-controlled Spanish Dominion, or the Portuguese for that matter. They could attack these other countries, they could justify it saying, well, they have too much power, or if we don't stop them, they're just going to keep gaining power, take over the world, or they're Catholic. And since England was largely Protestant at this time, they had an issue with that. All the same, what we see going on here with the privateers and the pirates, it can really be understood if we think back to what Groen van Prinsterer said. Van Prinsterer, who I mentioned to you earlier, said that that modernity began with the unbelief of the Enlightenment. That's kind of easy to see, kind of this dismissal of God, or the fact that God actually reveals himself. But he said it also began with the violence of the pirates. Specifically, not just illegal pirates, but also legal pirates, the privateers, those who were actually authorized by the state to steal and to kill without any kind of official declaration of war, without any kind of sense of there being any type of just reason for going to war. It was simply for profit and to mess with a power that was more powerful than yourself that you didn't want to go into full-scale war with. Once again, we have a separation of the secular from the sacred. So you don't have this idea that all men are made in the image of God, that all property is an extension, essentially, of their calling and their labor and their time, and so therefore it's wrong to take those things from them. Instead of having that worldview, it's simply, oh, they're of a different state, they're of a different citizenship, and that's a different secular realm than ours, so therefore we can do with them what we want to do with them.